Congratulations, mate. Was this a goal of yours at the start of your career?
No, it certainly wasn't. It's nice to get the NAB Rising Star, but it certainly wasn't a goal. Yeah, it's just been a nice surprise, I suppose.
Are you amazed by how far you've come this season?
Yeah, I suppose somewhat I am. I was just at the start of the year, I suppose I had high expectations of myself. Trying to fill that centre half back role, I knew I was going to have to develop pretty quickly this year if I was going to stay in the side. And Ben Rutten and Darren Milburn have helped me a lot this year, and I suppose they're working with me every week and trying to fast track my development. So they've been really good for me.
When you say develop very quickly, Daniel, what was the issues you felt you had to work on?
I think I had a fair few issues last year. I was coming off an Achilles, so I obviously had to get that right over the pre-season and get back to full fitness and get a bit of my pace and strength back. And I suppose I just had to work on a few areas of my game that probably weren't as good as they should have been last year, like defending the lead and just a bit of body positioning and stuff like that. So they've really worked on the specifics with me, and I suppose that's starting to improve and it's starting to show now. So.
Club obviously lost Bock and Davis taking the money and running, but do you think that's kind of been the making of you being thrown in and sort of having to stand up?
Yeah, well, in some way it kind of has. Those blokes left, and then I was kind of forced to play because it was the spot was open and it was there for the taking. So yeah, I was just really lucky to get that opportunity. I'm grateful that I did get that opportunity, and Neil Craig showed that faith in me that he played me last year, and Sandoz kept that faith in me this year and just kept playing me. So yeah.
How has Darren Milburn helped you out?
I suppose he's just come from a successful side in Geelong. He played in that back line. It was such a great back line for many years, and he's just brought some new ideas. He's fresh out of the game, so he knows what it takes to win, and he's just we've got similar personalities. I suppose he's just worked really closely with me this year and has helped me. Yeah.
As a young player, do you cop a bit of sledging out on the field?
Oh, no, not really. I just I'm pretty focused during games, so I just try and stick to my role. And you do cop a bit every now and then, but I don't worry about it. I just play my role for the team and don't worry about any of that. So.
In terms of where you're at, you made an improvement. Where do you think you still got to go?
Yeah, look, I still think I've got a huge amount of improvement left. I suppose I'm starting to develop into the player I want to be, but I've still got lots of room for improvement. One day I want to be probably as good as Ben Rutten is, being able to consistently shut down a player and beat your man week in and week out. So if I can get to that level, yeah, that's where I want to get to by the end of my career. Yeah.
In terms of centre back, sometimes it's got to be more than just shut down. It's a great line for starting play.
Yeah.
Where do you think you are on that one?
Yeah, well, as you said, I've probably still got room for improvement in that as well. At the moment, I'm focusing heavily on my defensive game, but I think I could really improve in that attacking part of my game as well, and maybe getting a few more possessions. So that's definitely an area that I could improve in as well.
What have you learned off those big forwards that you've played against, particularly Nick Reebok down the right?
Yeah, it's always good playing on those power forwards because you do learn a lot week in, week out. And I suppose the thing I've learned is you've got to be on your game for the whole game. You can't have lapses in play because as soon as you do, they get a mark on the lead or they kick a goal. So you've just got to be really focused and switched on the whole game and try and stop them as much as you can, I suppose.
Remember, I'm sure time always flies, but when the Carlton boys had identified you pretty early as someone that they would like to take out of here, where did that play with you? You weren't quite aware of what was going on there, were you?
No, I really wasn't aware at all. I heard about it through a couple of people, but I hadn't been told about it directly, so yeah, I didn't even know where that was at.
Were you happy that Adelaide stood firm, that they wouldn't even let that discussion continue?
Yeah, definitely. I think at the time, Neil Craig came up to me and he said, Carlton are interested in you, but as a club we really rate you and we want to keep you here. So yeah, for the club to show that faith in me and to really value me as a player so early on in my career, I hadn't played any games or anything, was really great by them. And yeah, I want to reward the club for that because it's great that they stood by me. So.
At that stage, Bock and Davis were still around, so you were in a long queue.
Yeah.
Would have you considered moving on to get a chance somewhere else?
No, I don't think I would have. I was from the first year I've got to the club, I've been pretty happy, and the environment's been really good for me. It's been a nice change coming over to Adelaide, and yeah, I've really enjoyed my time over here so far. And I'm really enjoying my footy at the moment. So I don't think at the time it was really even a factor.
Is it a nice confidence boost though to know that you're getting a bit of attention from rivals before you've even really established yourself?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I'd be getting that much attention, but it is nice to get noticed a bit. But I suppose as a player, and especially for our group this year, we're not really worried about individual success. I suppose we're more worried about the team, and if we can play our role each week, well then I suppose that's what we want to do, and then the team will keep going well. So hopefully we can all keep doing that.
When you were in the draft pool, how much interest was in you then?
Well, when I was coming through the draft, I was coming off a hamstring injury, so I didn't play the second half of the year. I played the national championships with Vic Metro and then was injured straight afterwards. So I suppose a few clubs, I went off their radar or whatever, but Adelaide were keen on me throughout the year, and they always probably showed the most interest. So yeah, it's great that they did, and it's great that I'm here.
Anyone else?
Yeah, there was a few different clubs. I can't remember exactly who, but I think there was about 6 or 8 clubs that were pretty interested. I didn't know where I was going to get drafted because I'd been injured for so long, but yeah, lucky enough I went first round, and yeah, I come to Adelaide. So.
Where was your family connections in the game as well?
My family connections.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a grandpa, Harvey Stevens, that played in the Bulldogs 1954 premiership, so that was their only premiership. So he played for them back in the day, and my little brother just got drafted to the Doggies as well. So he's followed Harvey's lead, and he's followed Harvey's lead, and he's at the Dogs now. So yeah.
You talked about sledging before. Do you think there's a place for it in the game?
Not really. I suppose my personal view is I just go out there and play my role. I'm not really worried about talking to other blokes. I'm focused on what I got to do. So sledging for me is not really an issue. If blokes say something, you just ignore it and try and focus on your role.
Do you reckon, as players, do you sort of know where the line is? Like maybe you can get inside their head a bit, but certain things are just absolutely off limits?
I think as a player, you know what's right and wrong. So as long as you behave in the right manner, and you should know what the right manner is, then you'll be fine. Yeah.
And you're given just on the sledging there. Sorry, I'm blowing up the back. With that, obviously some players, depending on their personalities, like to get on the lip a bit and have a bit of fun, I suppose, out on the ground. That's always going to be there to an extent, you think, don't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think different blokes have different personalities, and some blokes talk more than others. So yeah, it's a part of the game, and it's always been around, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So yeah.
Does it essentially come down to respect, I guess? Like you might have banter with your mates and that sort of thing, but there are certain things you just know that's just too far.
Yeah, exactly right, and you should know that. I suppose that's how you're raised, and you know what's right and wrong. So there's always going to be a bit of lip out there, but as long as you don't cross the line, I think you'll be fine. So.
What about you and Sam Shaw? What sort of partnerships are emerging there?
Yeah, me and Sammy Shaw have been pretty close throughout our 3 years at the club. We obviously got drafted together. Sammy was our number 3 pick, I think it was. So, and we both played at Vic Metro in our 18th year. So I knew Sammy before we got to the club, and we've had a pretty good friendship throughout. And Sammy's really starting to develop this year. He had massive improvement throughout the pre-season, and he's in the team now, and he's playing really well. So I'm really happy for Sammy that he's in the team, and we work together. We work on a lot of things together as well. Benny Rutten takes us under his wing, and we work all 3 of us together. So yeah, it's been good that Sammy's in the team, and it's good to have another young defender back there. It gives you a bit of confidence as well.
Which is his best role?
I think Sammy's in the team because he can play tall, small. He can attack. He can defend. So he's a really versatile defender. He can just about play every role. So he's a pretty talented young man, Sammy.
So looking long term, could you be centre halfback, fullback combo together, or not?
Yeah, well, look, I think we'd like to think we could. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. But yeah, we're both in the team now, and we're both just looking to improve this year. So hopefully, if we can keep improving and hold our spots, hopefully that does happen down the track. Yeah.
Is he more? If in the end that was to be, who would be fullback? Who'd be centre halfback?
Oh, I suppose it'd depend on the matchups. I suppose if there was a bigger bloke at fullback, I'd play on him. If bigger bloke was out at centre half back, I'd play on him. Same, he could play on the smaller bloke. It just depends where the matchup would be, and you don't really have a set position. You're on matchups, so yeah, it would depend.
Have you admired how much he's battled away through injury and the doubts as to whether he should even be on the list?
Oh, look, definitely. Sammy had a really tough run in his first 2 years. He was injury riddled. He went through a lot as well, and he was stuck in the reserves at Glenelg, I think it was, at the end of the last year. Now he's playing in the Adelaide side, so he's shown massive improvement, shown a lot of courage to get through those injuries, and he's been great this year, and the boys are loving what he's doing out there because he's probably one of our most improved players, so he's been great.
Do you wonder what might have been if Bock and Davis hadn't had those offers?
No, I don't really worry about that. I suppose they got the offers and they took them, and good on them for taking them. So I just try and take my opportunity that it's here, and I'm trying to just stay in the side and build some consistent form and try and be reliable back there. So that's all I'm worried about. I'm not really worried about other blokes. So.
Is Ben the only one mentoring you, or have you got someone else as well?
Oh no, Ben's not. Ben's probably the main one that's working with me, but I suppose that the backline group works together. So we've got Brent Riley and Michael Dowdy back there with Graham Johncock as well, and they're all pretty reliable, and they've played for a long time, so they know what it takes to be successful. And yeah, we all work together, I suppose, and they all help us younger guys. So, yeah.
It was the notion at the start it was probably the weakest area of Adelaide because of Bock and Davis leaving those holes.
Yeah.
Why does it work so well?
I think this year we've relied a lot more on team defence. It's not the back line that's doing their job, it's definitely the midfielders and the forwards getting back and helping us out. And as a team, I think we're defending a lot better rather than individuals. So that's certainly helped us this year. And we've had a real team focus in defence this year. So I think that's why we've improved a bit in that area.
On that issue of defence, have you guys sat down and talked about those runs that opposition teams are getting on you, particularly what happened on Friday night again?
Yeah, look, we definitely we've seen them as a worrying sign, and we don't like when teams score 4 or 5 goals in a row against us. So that's an area that we've got to improve going into this weekend and in the future weeks to come, because we don't like sides scoring easily against us. So that's definitely an area that the team could probably improve on.
The problem's identified, but what's the solution then?
I think we've just got to control the game a bit more. I think we went to our shells on Friday night and just let St Kilda control the game a bit. So if we can slow the opposition down from scoring and get a bit more control over the game, I think even if we're not scoring, if we can stop the opposition from scoring, we'd rather that than a 5-goal turnaround.
Has that been the problem, that you've had such a focus on wanting to light up the scoreboard that when you have to pull it back, it's just become a bit too difficult?
No, I don't think so. I think going into the year, we've had a really good balance of offence and defence. And we know how important that defensive transition is. So I don't think we've gone into any game attack. Defence is almost first on our mind. So, I don't think that's an issue. It's just on Friday night we weren't able to stop St Kilda's momentum, and I suppose that's an area that we could still work on.
But it might be that it's plausible to argue that you get so seduced by the way you attack so quickly and so well with those run-on goals that then you do find it just too hard to get out of that mode?
I suppose you could say it that way, but I don't think as a group we look at it that way. We just think that we lost control. We lose a bit of control when we get scored against, and we've got to find ways to turn that around. So I don't think it's that we're going out there just to attack and then we're getting scored against. I think it's we just lose control of the game. We've got to find ways to get that control back. So.
And when do you come out of contract, and are you keen to extend your tenure at Crows now?
Well, it's probably not an issue for me. I'm signed till the end of next year, so I've still got a while. I've still got 2 years this year and next year. So I just signed at the end of last year. So I'm loving my time here, and hopefully I do get another contract, because I'm really enjoying the environment at the moment. We've got a young group, and I think we're all gelling together pretty well. So hopefully I do get offered another one at the end of next year, and I'd love to stay. So.
And you'd like to be a Crow for life?
Oh, look, I'm pretty young. I'm only 20 years old, so.
Young club player?
Oh yeah, that's always in your mind, but yeah, things pop up and different things change. So I suppose we'll have to wait and see.
One of those things is, does your brother become a factor? Would you prefer to play in a side with him and then the Western Bulldogs connection with your grandfather? Does that become a factor for you?
No, I don't think really. I think I suppose I'm just trying to create my own path. I don't really want to live off my grandfather or go to the Dogs just to be with my brother. I want to create my own career and make my own way in the AFL. So I definitely like giving advice and helping Michael out, but I don't think I'd go to the Dogs just to play with him or just to be at the same club as my grandpa was. I'd rather go down my own path and do my own thing. So
So as a kid, which scarf did you wear?
I was actually a Carlton supporter. So yeah, my whole family.
You're the chance.
Yeah, my whole family was Bulldogs, and I was the only Carlton one, so it was a bit strange. But I think I liked Anthony Koutafidis back in the day, so yeah.